Hi, it's Larry Call from Change Agent Board. I'm excited to have you join our upcoming interview with George Kriza from Challenging Decisions. What we're going to talk about with George is how to turn vision into reality as a small business owner, as a founder or entrepreneur. I hope you enjoy the program. So, George, did you know that a $100,000 bill printed during the Great Depression with Woodrow Wilson's face on it was the largest denomination ever printed in history in the
I
US?
had no idea, Larry. I thought that was really interesting that you knew that little fact. And the closest I could get to that, one time I walked into my grandparents' safety deposit box at the bank. My mom sent me there, and would you believe I found a $5,000 bill and $3,000 bills, which probably sat there for 40 years. Think about that.
I've never seen that. I've never seen bills like that before, and this sounds a lot better than the Al Capone vault stunt that Geraldo Rivera pulled.
It's
Years back.
probably because of the Great Depression. They probably figured they needed to have money, and there it sat in that box, and no matter what happened, they had that money.
That was a generation, and the reason that I thought of this as the title for this particular series of episodes with you is that you started and sold a successful company. It's everybody's dream when they start a business. And sure, you didn't get a Woodrow Wilson, but you got Woodrow Wilson equivalents and money wired into your bank account. So you want to tell us your story
Well,
about where you were and how you made that happen?
sure. First of all, yes, I definitely got sort of an equivalent of a few Woodrow Wilsons, as part of the deal. So that was gratifying. And as you hear the story unfold, I think you'll understand it's doubly gratifying that we got to that point. It was never a straight line. One of the things I found out, by the way, as a side note, was that I never quite realized that Uncle Sam and JB Pritzker were 30% partners with me in my business. So, tax considerations definitely come into play at some point or another. But at any rate, achieving a reasonable amount of success or great success, it can have more twists and turns than a good mystery novel. So, how did it work out for me? Well, in the beginning, I'd been working for other people until I was about 40 years of age. And probably for the five years prior to being 40, I was thinking about opening my own company. My background was I grew up in Berwyn, went to Morton High School. IIT was a college I attended. And I spent some time in the camera business. Then I joined Sony Corporation of America in the consumer sales group. I was number 2 salesman in the country one year and number 1 in the Chicago region. This was in the era of the Walkman and the Betamax and so
I
on.
remember.
Exactly. And I actually have met Akio Morita as well when I was with Sony. And then I joined a manufacturer's rep company that was a Pioneer rep, and my timing just couldn't possibly have been better. 90 days after I joined, we were awarded the Apple computer representation contract for the tri-state area. So we represented Apple for a 4-year period. I had the opportunity of actually meeting and working with Steve Jobs personally on multiple occasions. We represented over 150 technology product lines during that 4-year period. Then I went on to be a regional manager for various Windows machine type companies. But during that very early period of time, we had to absorb very rapidly how to leverage technology. And then we actually educated and taught the public about what you could do with a PC. People always said, well, what am I going to do? Put my recipes on it. So we had to learn all the software and the operating systems, and we had to talk to them and train them via seminar method on how they could really take advantage in a very accessible way of the computer technology that was available at the time. So one thing that's really important that I got from this period of time, I feel, in my life, was both companies like Sony and Apple had powerful underlying visions and missions of what they wanted to accomplish. And there's actually a book called the Sony Vision. And we all know the power of Steve Jobs' speaking ability and the insights and the thought process that he brought to reinventing the world and the way the world used computers and technology. But it's a really interesting question, Larry, when you want to start a business. And if you just think about the questions you probably ask yourself, and you may have asked yourself back in the beginning, am I ready to open a business? What kind of business do I want to go into? Where do I start? Should I quit my job? Should I do this cold turkey? Really? I'm going to just drop everything and do this? If you watch Shark Tank, that's a question they ask right off the bat to these people that are looking for capital is, are you doing it full time and are you committed? Mm-hmm. So it's a very important thing to ask yourself whether you're ready to make that level of commitment. And you also should ask yourself, do I have the skills necessary to pull it off? At some level, you're going to have a basic set of skills, but you're going to find out very rapidly there's so much more involved in operating a company as it grows that it'll put a lot of demands on you as a CEO. So sometimes, though, you need a push to get off the cliff. And in my case, I was in the computer industry for 13 years. I lost my job. It was a turbulent era. But I did feel I was ready. I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I picked up, though, instead of going to look for jobs in the help wanted section, I went to business opportunities. And I saw a couple that just caught my eye. One was with Rosenbluth Travel, which was the third largest travel agency at the time. They were looking for area representation. And then I found another company in Atlanta that had a really unique take on sales incentive certificates that were generally used as a throw-in when you bought furniture or appliance or something of that nature. So I had a start, and interestingly, I knew a lot of people, as you might imagine, having worked for two great companies for quite a long period of time, and then a few others. I knew a lot of people. And the minute I talked to them and they found out that I was involved with travel, they started asking me, well, we'd like to put some cruises out as prizes. Can you make arrangements for that? We'd like to take a group of people to a baseball game in Atlanta. Can you put that group together? And before you knew it, I was selling group travel incentives. The next thing you know, I had 100 winners from Proxima Corporation going to Cancun on a trip I planned and orchestrated completely. We took people internationally to Marbella, Spain. Both programs were successful. People loved what we did. Off to the races we were.